Welcome back. The future of your child's education is on the ballot this election.
So many eyes have been on this particular race. Whoever becomes the next superintendent of public instruction will shape how and what Oklahoma students will learn in the years to come.
And this looks like it could be another very close race. Republican Education Secretary Ryan Walters going against former Oklahoma Teacher of the Year, Democrat Gina Nelson. KOCO's Zach Rael spoke with both candidates.
One of the most watched races this election, and perhaps the most controversial, is the campaign to become Oklahoma's next superintendent of public instruction. Republican Ryan Walters is a former history teacher who was appointed Secretary of Education by Governor Kevin Stitt.
First thing is we've got to get this indoctrination out of our schools. We've got to make sure that we have a focus on academics and not any kind of left-wing ideology. So my focus is going to be making sure that that's out. When we continue to move that out of our schools, we can get more of a focus on those basics, the reading, writing, arithmetic. I want to revamp and amp up American history.
Democrat Gina Nelson is an English teacher who was also Oklahoma's Teacher of the Year in 2020.
What we have to focus on is making sure at the State Department level that we can take things off a teacher's plate so that we can allow them to teach. We also need to address, of course, pay across the board. We also need to tone down that rhetoric when it comes to the profession of education and make sure that we celebrate and elevate our professionals.
One of the big differences between the two, their stance on school vouchers. Should taxpayer money be given to families so students can attend private or charter schools instead of that money going toward their local public school?
I am anti-voucher. You know, I believe in keeping our public dollars in our public schools. One of my greatest fears is seeing consolidation happen in schools close down, because when we see a school close down, we see a community close down. Communities close down. We see small businesses, fall. We see real estate pack up.
I believe that parents should be the ones in charge of whether their kids are vaccinated, whether their kids wear masks, and where their kid goes to school. So I want to empower parents to make those decisions, because I know if parents are more involved in their child's education, their kids are exponentially more likely to be successful.
One of the biggest issues facing the classroom right now, a massive teacher shortage. Many educators choosing to switch careers or leave the state entirely. Nelson supports a recent proposal to give teachers a $5,000 pay raise, but also says she would be a voice for teachers who feel left behind.
They are faced with a lot of rhetoric right now. They feel demoralized. They feel like the profession that they love so much is being demeaned in the eyes of our communities. And so we really need to have somebody in this position that's going to celebrate and elevate teachers again.
Walters also supports paying teachers more money, but wants it based on performance and experience. He believes teachers are facing outside pressure.
I'm not getting the support from my administrators. That we have a lack of discipline in the classroom. I have administrators pushing ideological things on me to teach in the classroom rather than helping me with the basics.
Recently, students in Norman walked out of class in protest of the state's bathroom law. The high schoolers angry about a recent punishment of a transgender teen. Both candidates say they'll follow that law and others.
As someone who would represent the State Department of Education, we have to follow those laws. But what I'm asking from everyone is to have empathy. We want to make sure that our students and our families all feel supported, and then hopefully we can find some common sense and some common ground to make sure that everyone feels safe and supported in our schools.
Boys should use the boys' bathroom and girls should use the girls' bathroom. It's a very common sense issue. It should be very clear. It creates a dangerous situation by allowing boys in the girls' bathroom. As a teacher, we would never allow that to happen because we know all the issues that can occur.
The candidates vary greatly on the issues that will shape education and our state's future for generations.
We have to have a superintendent that puts kids first, not radical teachers unions. And so I believe that I can do that when elected, that I can support our kids, I can support our parents, I can support our teachers, and we can have an incredible education system here in the state of Oklahoma.
I just realized that I needed to do something, that I wanted to stand up and I guess, advocate for the profession that I love so much, the profession that saved my life, because teachers are worth it, our kids are worth it, and we need to have a state superintendent who believes in public education.
Zach Rael, KOCO 5 News.
All right, so now we're ready to unveil the brand new polling in this race. Our exclusive KOCO 5 Amber Integrated poll found Democrat Gina Nelson leads Republican Ryan Walters by 4 points at this point. We want to bring in our pollster Jackson Lyle once again. And Jackson, we've really seen some swings in this poll in the last few weeks.
That's right, double-digit swings. For a couple weeks ago, Ryan Walters was leading by about 9 points, now down 4. And so this is a race that clearly voters are not quite making up their mind one or the other yet.
Yeah, so what can we take from this back and forth that we're seeing as we're taking a look at the polls from now to October and September?
It seems like this is potentially an issue of, mid-October there seems like a whole lot of attention paid to this race, and now as we're getting closer to Election Day, people are paying attention to some of these races down ballot, not just the governor's race.
And Walters also lost some support in rural areas compared to one of the last polls that we had.
That's right. He seems to be somewhat tracking a little bit with the governor's race in rural areas, but he is sort of similar to the governor, doing a little bit better in Tulsa than he was in prior surveys.
And similar to the governor's race as well, we're seeing that women are backing Nelson and men are backing Walters more.
Yeah, it's almost these races are almost mirroring each other at this point.
Okay, very interesting. We've got another exclusive poll that you're going to break down for us coming up in just a bit. So thank you so much, and we'll check back with you.